My name is JP Collings, and I'm here to talk to you today about the future of STEM. So when I was young and math was beginning to involve more than just addition and multiplication facts, I remember being scolded for using my calculator to solve equations. In the real world, the teacher told us, you aren't always going to have a calculator. Now, of course, we know that that's not true. When she told me that, she may have had a pager or a car phone. A few years later, if she was an early adopter, she had a flip phone. And a bit after that, her Nokia would have had a calculator on it, along with Snake and a text messaging program. And now I can't leave the house without a phone. It's my radio, it's my GPS, my camera, it's my credit card. In college, when I drove for Uber and Lyft, it was my job. And if I need one, it's still my calculator. On the other hand, we have technologies that aren't changing. When I was going into high school, my friends in higher level math classes, they all had a TI-86. And now, as I'm seeing my students going into high school and getting their equipment for their higher level classes, they're also getting the TI-86. In this case, the TI-86 served a purpose, in the 90s, and in 2021, the TI-86 is still continuing to serve the same purpose. It's still meeting its need. So it's not always easy to predict how STEM is going to change. Think about the brilliant prequel to the film Monsters, Inc., which is Monsters University. By Monsters University, you see young Mike deciding on his future as a scarer. He worked hard to get into the program of his choice. He excelled in that program. And of course, we know by the end of the film that technology is going to be obsolete. They're no longer going to need to be scarers. And Mike was on the forefront of that. Mike helped to develop that new technology. And of course, sometimes that's going to happen. There's a young programmer named Sebastian Ramirez. He posted, I saw a job post the other day. It required 4 years of experience in Fast API. I couldn't apply as I only have a year and a half of experience since I created that thing. So in this case, Sebastian Ramirez developed that framework, and he was on the forefront of moving technology along faster than even people like the recruiters in these businesses could keep up with. As far as they knew, this was something that people needed to know, and of course, something that was so necessary for the business and must have been around for a while, right? But it just became ubiquitous, within that year and a half time. So that technology can move very quickly. And if you are one of the people who is developing it, who is solving those problems, then you'll be able to keep up with that technology. So the good news is, in the field of STEM, you're encouraged to look at things with that engineering mindset, and you can be one of those leading those changes. The role technology holds in our lives has continued to increase since I was in school. I use my phone to pay my bills, to invest in the stock market, to buy cryptocurrency, to put money into my kids' college funds. I send birthday money to my brother or my father. If I do side jobs, I get paid on PayPal. So, and even for things that I don't do on my phone, that I do on my computer, like doing my homework, submitting my homework on Canvas, just like you do, attending meetings on Teams, just like you do. We have to do so much on our computers. So between the phones and the computers, that is a extremely crucial part of our everyday lives. So one of the people who makes sure that can be done safely are the information security analysts. Information security analyst is a job that's growing, has grown 41.3% between 2015 and 2019. They predict that it's going to grow another 42.1% between 2019 and 2029. And these people protect the businesses, computers, and networks. They're responding to cyber attacks, and they're making sure that people's bank accounts aren't getting hacked into, that businesses' websites aren't being taken over by cyber attacks, and that all of the things that we do, all of the things that we need our technology to do for us, we can continue to do. So that is a job that is going to continue to be needed because they're solving an important problem of making sure that we can do what we need to do securely. Another one of those positions is the computer and information research scientist. They're also people who are solving problems, right? They are growing between 20.7% between 2015 and 2019. They predict that they'll continue to grow 19.1% between 2019 and 2029. So what the computer and information research scientists do is they research new technologies and then they apply those technologies to needs that already exist. In that same vein of solving problems, they're looking for solutions that already exist that can be applied to problems that nobody realized they could apply to. So here's one example of that in process. Somebody invented a program to price bread, and that program is now detecting cancer. The way that this happened was a bread company in Japan realized that nobody wanted to buy bread that was wrapped in plastic and had a barcode on it. Everybody wanted fresh bread. So they have fresh bread, but then when they had the fresh bread, the cashier had to take the bread, look at the bread, and identify the kind of bread that it was, and look at a price list and ring it up like that. And it was time consuming. So this bread company, asked the programmer to make a program that would use artificial intelligence to identify the bread. So the artificial intelligence looks at a piece of bread and thinks that's a croissant or that's a brioche and prices it accordingly. Now, a scientist saw this program and they thought to themselves, well, that's awesome that they can identify bread, but what else can this program do? And what they found out was that not only could this program, identify bread, but if you feed it the right information, this program can be used to identify cancer cells that previously humans had to look at under a microscope and identify. So that's, another great example of a problem that's being solved, in a way that, even the engineer didn't know the problem could be solved. So if you're interested in either of these roles, that's fantastic. If not, that's fine too. There's probably another job that I can't even imagine that might not even exist yet. The future of STEM is not always a specific job. It's just innovation. It's continuing to identify and solve problems in new ways. And I know that you will be able to continue to find new ways to solve those problems and bring on the next wave of innovation.